Hey everybody, I've been avoiding a topic I'm going to talk about today, which I feel is the most controversial topic in AA, and it's one that very nearly shot me out the door because I struggle with it intensely, and that is talking about the God deal. And when I was inpatient, I read the first step that, powerless over alcohol, life is unmanageable. And at that time, I knew I was powerless over alcohol and I accepted I was an alcoholic. But I kept reading, and the second step was, came to believe a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. And I remember thinking, this is not good. And then I got to step 3, and it's made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. And I thought, I'm screwed. There's no way. And P.S., I want nothing to do with this program. I had grown up in religion, which is my connotation to God, and kind of what I grew up with, I associated with the God of my understanding. And what I grew up with was a down to death doomsday God. And I wanted nothing to do with it, a God that was punishing me. And it really helped me when I was in inpatient treatment that somebody shared that spirituality is for those who have been to the gates of hell and never want to go back. And that saved me, absolutely saved me. And this program is very much about spirituality and not religion. Now, religion works for some people, and I love that for them, but some people have defined God as group of drunks, great outdoors. I know somebody that refers to it as Susan, good orderly direction, ficus named bread. It generally doesn't matter. This can be whatever you want, of whatever works for you. And I don't think there's necessarily all two gods of our understanding that's a one-to-one and the same amongst us. But this is something that for me was really important because the weight of the world was always on my shoulders when I thought I was creating the propulsion of my life, and it created a lot of stress and anxiety and worry. And these days I've gotten to the point where I have a strong God of my understanding. I'm very spiritual, but I have to remind myself that I am safe and I'm going to be okay based on the God of my understanding. And it's grown over the years. When I was first getting sober the second time, and having grown up with the God that I did, I needed to combat that visual of when I heard that word with the happiest, jolliest entity that I could think of, and just getting sober right after Christmas. In my head, when I heard that word, that was very, very big and something I wanted nothing to do with, I immediately thought of a 1950s Coca-Cola Santa. Jolly, red cheeks, and the God of my understanding did not deliver like Santa, but I needed something really happy to think of because what I grew up with didn't work. And over the years, it's very much evolved, going through experiences that I normally would have drank and drug over. I talked about I was graveside at my niece's funeral on my 4-year AA birthday, that I stayed sober, which again, when I wanted to get sober the second time, I was in the depths of a bottom and I desperately didn't want to drink, and not having the compulsion and obsession and that being removed blew me away. So again, this is a very controversial topic, and I'll also share, very controversially, that I know somebody in the program with really good sobriety of 30 years that's an atheist. And I know other people who are in the program might come at me, but I need to share that because if that's where you're at, you can too. Regarding where I've been at or whatever works for you, if we can, you can too. This person has a good orderly direction God. Again, it can be whatever you want it to be, and that's what works for them. So thank you for listening. I hope I didn't upset anybody. That was not my intent, but I wanted to talk about the elephant in the room. So thanks.